the good stuff you need to know. Right here on the Zone 105.9 and worldwide at thezone1059.com.
Here we go. And away we go. Welcome in on this Wednesday, halfway point of the week. It's the day before. It's the day before the Masters. Maybe, hopefully, because tomorrow it's overnight tonight and into the morning in Augusta, Georgia. Augusta is how we say it. It's supposed to rain cats and dogs. Maybe with all that stuff that came through here last night and blew limbs down and knocked some power out and all that kind of stuff, I guess it's going to make its way to Georgia. I don't know how much golf they're going to play at the Masters tomorrow. But today is Wednesday. It's the par 3 contest, which is always good television if you ask me. And all of that is on the table with you here today on the show. And you can be a part of it, and I hope you will be. Lots of ways for you to be a part of the show. It's really your show anyway. You know, nobody cares if I get in here and talk, right? Nobody cares if Beaver and I talk to each other. I mean, other than us. The reason somebody cares is because you listen. Trust me, you're the major component. Appreciate you being here and being a part of the show. So drop a comment if you're on the live stream. You got YouTube, Facebook, X/ formerly Twitter. And you can drop a comment right there and it pops in. For example, first of the day here on the YouTube live stream is from Danny. He gave me a hail state from Ringgold, Georgia. He says, how many days before football starts? Well, yeah, they're practicing. Everybody's doing spring practice stuff. You're going to have within the next couple of weeks, a whole run of spring game stuff, which will be interesting, somewhat. It's not like the fall, but it's the next best thing, I guess. But in terms of it starting up, we're still months away. I think this year most everybody's going to start their fall camps right at the end of July. So we still got a ways to go. But I know what you mean, and I know why you're asking that, Danny, is because you're not a big golf fan. You're like, Matt, Masters, really? Well, look, it's a big deal to me. I just, it's probably top 3 in terms of favorite sporting events every year. Looking forward to it and watching it and all of that stuff for all those different reasons. But maybe you're not, and that's totally fine. You can also text me today on the Country Pleasing text line. The number to text, 885-3776. That is a 601 number, 885-3776. You can also call me. Get to hear your voice. Others get to hear your voice. That'd be great. Last time I was in this Farm Bureau Insurance studio, we had a bunch of phone calls. So that's the day that we were ranting about what the umpires did or tried to do in Starkville this past weekend. We've moved on from that for now until the next time they screw something up. But until then, we can talk about other things on the Davini Equipment phone line. Davini Equipment, Madison and in Jackson. Your Kubota dealer. The number to call, 897-1059. That's a 601 number. 897-1059. Now, I will say, like this, I didn't even know this, and to me, it's just I totally missed it somehow. But somebody texted the show, unnamed texter, and said, "What is going on with Keyshawn Murphy?" So last week he said he's coming back, and now he said he's transferring. I don't know. I really don't know. Questions like that on the table. I'm going to respect you, though, by just telling you the truth. And the truth is, I don't know. Rather than feed you a line of bull and try to trick you into thinking I know information that I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know what the deal is on that. He's kind of in and out this past year, and he's a heck of a talent and so on and so forth. But in today's era, I just, when you don't know like this and you hear, Keyshawn Murphy's transferring, well, you're left to speculate all kinds of weird stuff, right? You speculate and you go, well, there may be somebody out there who's recruiting him into the transfer portal. You go, well, that's tampering. They're not supposed to. Well, nobody cares, and there is no governing body that can rule anything. Okay, so coaches aren't afraid of that. So, on one hand, you think, well, it's probably there's some coach or program out there that says, hey, buddy, if you'll hop in a portal, one, we'll pay you this to come here, and two, you're going to play more if you come here, and who knows where that is. And then the other thing, too, that is it's sort of a cynical assumption, but we are left to assume it in any case, whether it's a basketball player, a football player, whatever. And that is, you go, well, it could simply be a guy who's kind of holding that school's collective, pay-for-play collective, feet to the fire, meaning, hey, I'm going to put my name in a portal and tell them I'm leaving, and if you'll come up with some cash, the extra cash that I want beyond what I've already been getting, you pay me a little more, then I'll pull out of the portal and I'll stay here. You know what I mean? So it's like, I got some leverage here to make you pay me more. I'm going to use it. And again, it's like you say, if you don't know, it's an assumption, and it is a bit of a cynical one, but that's kind of what we're left to when we see those things. All that to say, I ain't got a clue what the real deal is. I didn't even know it, just to be honest with you. All right. With that said, here we are at the top of the hour on this Wednesday. The par 3 contest is what's going on at the Masters today, and it is beautiful weather over there today. Right the opposite of what we're having in Mississippi last night and then again today. I'm telling you, North Mississippi today, most of the state today, certainly where I live, North Mississippi, absolutely flooded this morning. And in some places, literally flooded. It's just, it rained as hard for as long as it has in a long time in Tupelo, Mississippi this morning. I can tell you that much. So if that's what's headed to Georgia overnight tonight and in the morning, they're not going to play a whole lot of golf tomorrow. Maybe it'll break up. I don't know. I'm not a weather expert. I just know today at that par 3 contest, again, it's just for fun, but it does sort of whet your appetite. And man, that par 3 course at Augusta is manicured and as beautiful as the regular 18 holes. And the players, they're loose and they have fun, and they've got their families dressed up in caddy outfits and little kids running around in caddy outfits, and they let them putt and everything. It's just, I love watching it. I really do. I used to not, but now I do. Maybe that's a sign of getting older. I don't know, but I enjoy it now. All right, and also top of the hour, coming to your texts, your comments, but we usually have headlines right about this time, or near it anyway, and we'll do that now. Headlines which are always brought to you by Bank of England Mortgage and Went McGee. The Mortgage Man. Find him online at mortgagemanms.com.
Good evening. I'm Ron Burgundy, and this is what's happening in your world.
Good evening, and welcome to Eyewitness News.
Here's what's making news.
Bank of England Mortgage and Went McGee, locations in Ridgeland and now in Starkville, Oxford, and in Tupelo. Got a great program going right now for first-time home buyers. You can get up to $20,000 towards the purchase of your first home that you don't have to pay back if you stay in there for 5 years. All right, so you had midweek baseball last night. The 2 SEC teams that had their midweek games canceled were State and Ole Miss. Both canceled. Well, I say State's is listed as canceled. The Ole Miss versus Murray State game is listed as postponed, so maybe they come back, play it another time. But neither played last night, so next up, they're going to play each other Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Around the rest of the SEC last night, Georgia won, I think, 10-run rule over Kennesaw State. It's a pretty good win. Kennesaw State's been pretty good. Vandy beat Middle Tennessee 14-1. Tennessee put up 20 runs against Alabama A&M, beat them 20-2. Arkansas with a 5-1 win over San Jose State. How about this? Border battle. South Carolina beat North Carolina 2-1. Good ball game last night. Texas A&M a 6-5 win over UTSA. Missouri with a midweek loss to SIU Edwardsville. And if you know what SIU stands for, let me know. It's Edwardsville somewhere. SIU Edwardsville beat Missouri 5-4. How about that? Baseball strange game. That's after Missouri swept Florida this weekend. Midweek loss for Alabama last night. South Alabama, good baseball program. The Jaguars beat Alabama in Tuscaloosa 5-4. And this is a bit of a shocking loss. To say that things are not going well for Auburn baseball at this point in the season would be an understatement. Now, anybody can lose a midweek game. Again, ask Missouri, ask State. State lost to Central Arkansas. Florida's lost a bunch of midweek games and stuff. Alabama losing to South Alabama. But Auburn last night at home with a 3-2 loss to Alabama State. So Alabama State from Montgomery in the SWAC goes to Auburn, gets a midweek baseball win at Plainsman Park, 3-2. So, and Danny, thank you. I don't know if you had to look it up or not, but SIU Edwardsville stands for Southern Illinois University Edwardsville. And that's who beat Missouri last night. So there you go. So look around the SEC and the midweek baseball stuff. Up in the bigs, the Orioles are calling up their top prospect, Jackson Holliday. You see a lot about it. Big-time player. He's an infielder, number one prospect in baseball, in all of baseball, Jackson Holliday. Got off to an incredible start in AAA this year. Was big in spring training as well, but in the 10 games in AAA, which is in Norfolk, Virginia, the AAA affiliate of the Orioles, he batted .333, a couple of home runs, drove in 9, and had 5 doubles and 12 walks against just 8 strikeouts, all of that in 10 games. So he's on a tear, and they're going to bring him up, and that's the news. That it's kind of like the story in Major League Baseball. There aren't many stories in Major League Baseball. And then finally back to basketball. There's a report out there, this is on ESPN, that Billy Donovan, the former Florida coach, is turning down Kentucky's overtures. He is committed to the Chicago Bulls, where he's currently the coach. Story says Chicago Bulls, Billy Donovan said that he has not had any contact with the University of Kentucky about its coaching vacancy. Reiterated his commitment to the Bulls prior to the team's game last night. That was with or against the Knicks. And, if it's anything that's been proven over the years, it's that when a coach says he is not going somewhere, then it's a done deal, right?
I don't know how else I can say it, guys. I've said it 3 different occasions. Well, then I guess I have to say it. I'm not going to be the Alabama coach. I've said this over and over and over.
Right? I mean, kind of like Nick Saban. He's a pro coach. He said it over and over and over again. Nick Saban said, I'm not going to be the Alabama coach. So that's it, right? It's a done deal.
I don't know how else I can say it, guys. I've said it 3 different occasions. Well, then I guess I have to say it. I'm not going to be the Alabama coach. I've said this over and over and over.
So here's my question. Here's my question. When a coach does that, look, I'm not going there. And then all the while, he's kind of planning on going there. Is it a lie or is it something else? That's all I want to know. Is it lying or is it really not lying? It's something else. What is it? Covering your rear end, covering, looking out for your best interest. Is it lying? I mean, that's all I'm asking. I'm not saying I've never lied. I have. Unfortunately. I just want to know if we define that way. That's all I want. I just want to know. Anyway, Billy Donovan says, I ain't going. I'm committed to the Chicago Bulls. Reckon he'll go all Saban on him eventually? I don't know. Now, Nick is really getting down to the heart of the matter here on the Country Pleasin' text line. Country Pleasin' sausage on grocery store shelves all around the Southeast. It is the best sausage, hands down. No ifs, ands, or buts. Now, that's my opinion, but I share that with many other people. And I'm on some original smoked sausage flavor right now. Nick says the real topic is, will third graders in Oxford finally get to see their team get a series win, or will they have to wait another year? Nick, you just got right down to it, didn't you? He said, my money's on the ladder. Hey, think about that. Now, are you telling the truth? Third graders so you got third graders who've never in their life seen Ole Miss get a series win over State. See, if we keep this up, Nick, we're going to jinx it, right? And talk them into it. St. Louis Vic on the country pleasing text line, says Matt. SIUE is Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville. He said it's actually not too far from me. And then Vic says, I attended SIU Edwardsville when he finished at Jackson State. Well, how about that? Very cool. Very cool. Yeah. In fact, Vic, a little bit ago, Danny over on the YouTube live stream, he clued me in too. I just didn't know. I'd never heard of it. SIU Edwardsville. They beat Missouri in baseball last night. And that's after, Missouri coming off a weekend in which they swept the Florida Gators, the mighty, mighty Gators. I tell you what, it didn't take long for me to look at Mississippi State's series loss at Florida. They lost 2 out of 3 the weekend before. To start looking at that as a bad series loss. They're still very talented. It is Florida. They went to Missouri and got swept. And it was a series that the one game that State won, they whipped them pretty good. And the other 2 games, they had leads like in the 9th inning. You're that close to really, picking up a bunch of wins on the road as compared to what you normally do when you go to Gainesville. They set themselves. They just could not close out those 2 games. Maybe Florida's not all that great. I don't know. It's just weird, though. Baseball can fool you. Brad texted the show, and he said, hey, it made me think of Tuberville and Ole Miss, Tuberville Ole Miss comments back in the day. Yeah. Nah, I'm never leaving here in a pine box. Isn't that what he said? Or when I leave here, it'll be in a pine box, something like that, when they're taking me to the graveyard. And then in the middle of the night, he was like, whoosh. Just say what you have. See, here's the deal. Politicians and coaches sometimes too, not all, but sometimes, they don't look at it as lying. They can't. Either, they just can't, or they don't care. They simply look at it as, look, it's whatever I need to do right now to get my fanny out of this jam it's in. I ain't leaving Ole Miss. They'll take me out of here in a pine box. Week later, gone. See ya. Overnight, cleaned out his office. They never saw him again till they played him at Auburn the next fall. Yeah. And Saban, head coach, Miami Dolphins. How many times I got to tell y'all I'm not going to Alabama?
I don't know how else I can say it, guys. I've said it 3 different occasions. Well, then I guess I have to say it. I'm not going to be the Alabama coach. I've said this over and over and over.
That's before AI. That's before artificial intelligence, and you could make a sound clip of somebody saying anything that they didn't say. He actually said that. And about 2 weeks later, I don't know how many times I got to say I'm not going to coach Alabama. Headline today. Billy Donovan said he has not had any contact with the University of Kentucky about its men's basketball coaching vacancy and reiterated his commitment to the Chicago Bulls. And they're good and terrible, by the way, aren't they? Knowing good and well if Kentucky wants Billy Donovan, what are they going to offer him? They're going to say, hey, Billy, name it. Just write it down, what you want. Look, save us the time and tell us what it will take. And, but, here we are. I got you, Brad. I'm with you. Now, Res Dog texted the show and said he's insinuating now that we've said these kind of things, and Nick, you've pointed out the record and how long it's been since Ole Miss won against State in Oxford. And Res Dog says there is no doubt MSU is losing this series. Res Dog, I like you. I do. You're pessimistic now. You want people fired, and today. All right? And there ain't no way they're winning this series. Okay? You're pessimistic, but you're realistic. And you're very honest, too. And I like you. I think you and I could be friends, really, because I think if we hung out, I'd laugh at you a lot, and you wouldn't care. Don from Madison. What's up, Don? Good to hear from you. He texts the show on the country pleasing text line. I got to get some jalapeno and cheddar. That's what I want. Jalapeno and cheddar. Maybe some black pepper and cheddar. Country pleasing. Don from Madison says, Matt, you must have water in your line. There is a lot of static. Well, I don't know who would blame that on. Ain't my fault. Clear as a bell here. Somebody standing on the cord. Don? I mean, it was Bill. It was Billiam. Cowboy Bill that was pulling wires earlier this week. Let's blame it on him. He's not here to defend himself. We just blame it on him. Oh, yeah. And speaking of Tuberville and the Pine Box deal, coaches, here's my question for you, though. Serious question. Like, how would you, when Saban said this,
I don't know how else I can say it, guys. I've said it 3 different occasions. Well, then I guess I have to say it. I'm not going to be the Alabama coach. I've said this over and over and over.
Okay. So here's the deal. Is it a lie or is it something else? And if it's something else, what is it? PT for MSU said, Tuberville left Texas Tech in the middle of a recruiting dinner to take the Cincinnati job. I think I remember reading about that. They were sitting at a table, right? Like he's sitting at a dinner table at some restaurant or maybe it was at a dinner on campus. And there were apparently like recruits and families at the table. And he said, "Excuse me a minute." Gets up like he's going to the bathroom. They never saw him again. Man. I mean, just do whatever it takes to advance your own self in the moment and never look back, huh? Always looking out for number one. I don't know. Maybe that's the way to get ahead, but I don't respect it at all. Stick around.
Today's game from Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
Time was their breakfasts were gloomy. They just didn't feel right, and they didn't know a delicious cereal could help their sad plight. So they tried this and tried that, but irregularity kept coming back all the same. For as often the case, lack of bulk in their diet was actually to blame. Once at the grocer's, the wife was so drooping and sagging that a neighbor said, "Get on Kellogg's All-Bran wagon. Why, All-Bran has a flavor that's scrumptious to eat. So rich and nut-like, makes breakfast a treat. And of course, Kellogg's All-Bran can help you each day to youthful regularity, the dietary way." "Well, it might do some good," said the wife with a sigh. "Guess I'll get some All-Bran and give it a try." Soon, breakfasts at her house were happy and bright, for delicious Kellogg's All-Bran set their day off right. Yes, All-Bran supplies all the bulk in your diet, you see, that you may need for youthful regularity. And no half-brand cereal possibly can provide this help as surely as Kellogg's All-Bran. A delicious, non-habit-forming aid to your diet. You're sure to like All-Bran. Just buy it and try it.
Get on the Kellogg's All-Bran wagon with the best bran in the land. The cereal that tastes grand, the cereal that's All-Bran, a breakfast treat that can't be beat. Be a regular guy and climb aboard the All-Bran wagon. Eat Kellogg's All-Bran.
What is the secret of this enchanted book? What wonders are hidden within its pages? What magical spell does it cast on all who read it? What is the secret of the never-ending story?
But that's impossible!
You will enter a world where a young boy's imagination becomes a vivid reality. The world of Atreyu and Artax, the Rockbiter, and a good and kind gnome. A world that is vast and eternal, treacherous and dazzling, unforgettable and free. For anyone who's ever made a wish, believed in a fantasy, or had a dream, this is the never-ending story.
It's a new thing, it's a fun thing, it's a swing wing.
It's a what?
It's a swing wing, it's a wing wing. A brand new grand fun thing.
It's a what?
It's a swing wing. A fun thing. And now it's your favorite store thing.
It's a what?
Mazda announces some great news for truck buyers. Right now, you can beat the already outstanding value of the $67.95 Mazda SE5. Introducing Mazda SE5 Plus 5. $625 worth of extra.
And worldwide at thezone1059.com.
Back with you in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. The whole thing about how good these pro golfers are, especially when they're relaxed. You know what I mean? That's the thing about it. You watch something like this par 3 contest, and of course they're not bombing drivers. They're hitting wedges up and down these little short par 3 holes. It's a beautiful scene. Kids dressed up as caddies and all this. They're just having a good time. But when those pros, they are so good that when they are relaxed like that, the shots they hit are phenomenal, like over and over, and bunches of holes in one and stuff like that. You see them how good they are, and they're across 3 or 4 days at a great, major championship golf course. They'll be 10 under and 15 under and 14 under. They're so good, and they're doing that nervous. Think about it. They're doing that nervous and tired, going under par every day, just stacking up birdies, right? You get them out here where they just relaxing, hitting wedges and, sand wedges and pitching wedges and relaxing. They're just throwing darts. I mean, they got old guys out there who, they need help tying their shoes, but they get over the golf ball and Gary Player's like sticking it 10 feet, stick it 5 feet. A whole different deal, man. Whole different level of they play something like whatever we consider, me and you, golf. When we say, I'm going to play golf this weekend at, where? At Reunion. Okay, what we're doing is not really what they're doing. I don't know. We need a different word for the two things. And that's how good they are. Back with you. Get on in here. Comments welcome. We were talking about the Pine Box thing. Danny commented on YouTube. He said, when Tuberville bolted for Auburn, there are a lot of Ole Miss fans who would have provided him that Pine Box. No doubt. My father-in-law has always since then referred to him as not Tuberville, but he calls him Tubalize. I'm surprised that didn't catch on more. Robert comments on YouTube, said, Strange Brew Coffee House known for their clever outdoor signage. It said, their sign said, Johnny Long is the only human that can look at the eclipse with no issues. I love it. Rebel Greg is, he's on it. He says, when a coach says he's staying at a school, that means his agent is still trying to see how much money he can squeeze out before he takes the job. Well, and I think that's the thing, whether it's, having fun with the Saban soundbite when he was with the Dolphins and he swears he's not going to Alabama, and in the past, no, I'm happy where I am. All the while, it's like, got an interview next week. Mullen, he interviewed everywhere he could for 10 years. And the whole time, oh, we like it here. Hey, are you leaving? Well, we like it here. Never the sure enough definitive shutdown. Stop asking me. I will coach here next year. That's it. I'm not looking to go anywhere. I don't want to go anywhere else. I'm not talking to anybody else. I will not take another job. You don't ever get that. Well, the reason is they all have agents who are very good. And at that level, part of the deal is you want to keep your very good agent, right, who's going to help you cash in somewhere. You want to keep him, and then you can't go out here shutting him down, making his job harder. So as a coach, you're in a position when your agent is working, both negotiating on your behalf and his. See, that's the deal. He's making his living based on getting a certain percentage of yours. The bigger the contract he gets for you, the more he gets paid. That's the way that whole works. It's like commission almost. Well, then naturally the relationship is predicated on the idea that, look, if I am your agent and I'm going to be out here negotiating on 2 or 3 different fronts with 2 or 3 different teams all at one time, trying to get you the best deal and the best situation, all that kind of stuff, you can't be getting out here publicly and saying anything that ruins it. You're going to have to be as bland and as non-committal as you can be. And so it does put coaches in a position where they just simply, they can say anything but the truth. Now, there it is. It's just an agent game. And I think we understand that, right? So when it's your coach and you don't want him to leave, and you don't want to think that he's going to get pulled away, you really want him, i.e. Mullen at State, to just come out and say, hey, shut all this down. No, it's not happening. I do not want to go anywhere. I'm not going to. I will absolutely coach here next year, the end. You want him as a fan to say that. Well, they got an agent. Because of the agent, whether there's a 5% chance that he could get that next big contract or a 95% chance, either way, the coach is not going to go out there and jerk the rug publicly out from under his agent's feet. That's just the game. MSU 1980. Text the show. He says, Matt, coming in clear. He's talking about on the radio here at my house. And then he says, my wife thinks I'm pessimistic. He says, but I think I'm a realist with, leaning into Murphy's Law. Okay. All right, over to the phone line, the Davini Equipment phone line. Davini Equipment in Madison and in Jackson. On line 1, old buddy, old pal, Rooster. What's up, Rooster?
Well, no golf today.
No, not for you.
No,
not for you or anybody else around here.
Or Alabama either. I'm hoping he'll stay away from Augusta. But, I want to comment, get in old Rooster's almost 80 voice of experience in writing and participating in sports. There's no question. The greatest achievement in sports is hitting that golf ball, and the Masters is that highlight. Listen, I get nostalgic and emotional just looking at the tee times.
Yeah.
I mean, do you realize how hard it is to win that thing? I mean, there's no other great accomplishment. However, there is an exception about 400 miles up the road in Louisville, Kentucky. It is a dude on a horse.
Okay.
And they cover that 2 miles, in about 2 minutes. Mathematics. I mean, that is, you say, what? A man and a horse covering a mile in about 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Nothing touches the Kentucky Derby. That is the foremost in sports accomplishment. A man on a horse. That's it.
Well, but it's the horse's. It's the horse's accomplishment.
Is the hardest individual.
But see, that's the difference. Is the Kentucky Derby is the horse's accomplishment. The Masters.
No.
The Masters is the human being's accomplishment.
No, the horse couldn't do it without a man. The man is the key.
Well, the
rider is the key.
But the man can't do it without the horse.
That's true. It's a combination. But that combination is the extension to Augusta, Georgia. That's the hardest individual achievement in sports, no question.
What?
I mean, I'm 70 years playing golf, hadn't made a hole in one.
Hey, I'm telling you, I look at people, Rooster, who have made multiple holes in one. And the thing is, it tells you a lot about golf because you see some terrible golfers who have holes in one, and you see some good ones that don't.
Yeah, I've made 1 million birdies, but no holes in one. I mean, how many twos am I going to have to make before it's a one?
I know it's a lot.
Not a million, but probably 1,000 birdies on par 3 and never made a hole in one. It's never gone in the hole.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I just want to get my 2 cents worth. That's it.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Not because I play golf, but that's the hardest achievement question. And then you add all the ingredients and the competition and what the preparation to win it. Like I said, I get nostalgia just looking at the tee times.
Right.
Realizing how hard it is to win those things.
Yeah.
But the greatest accomplishment in sport is that Kentucky Derby. A man on a horse covering a mile in 2 minutes.
Okay.
I mean, that's mathematics.
Well, but shouldn't we have a different category though for animals versus humans? Like animals have their own greatest accomplishment, and humans have theirs.
No, we don't. I mean, maybe a dog track. I don't know, but horse racing is the only competition where animals should be considered as horse racing.
Okay.
Nothing else.
Okay, I got you.
That's it. There's the jockey. And I don't know, for whatever reason, they determined that jockey must weigh 126 pounds. Where did that come from?
Yeah,
why?
Why 126?
I don't know. It's always been 126. It hadn't changed, and they make sure that that's what he is.
Yeah.
They most of them weigh 126 pounds. They've got stuff on to make it that, but that's the handicap. But I'm looking forward to that in a couple of weeks, and closing with the final baseball. No, the Rebels are not going to win that series.
Oh.
The Bulldogs are going to. They'll probably drop one game. They'll probably lose one at Swayze.
Okay.
But they'll win the series.
So you think State gets 2 out of 3?
Oh, yeah. Okay. The Rebels have lost 7 in a row.
Mm-hmm.
They may win Friday night. They might, but they'll lose the series.
All right.
State's got the hitters, no question.
Okay.
Well, let's just hope that Nate knows if he pitches that he's okay. And again, my closing thought on that: bring him in at the 9th inning, not the 1st inning, the 9th inning.
Yeah.
Not the 1st. When you need him. Anyway. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be an exciting season. Yeah, it really is.
It really
but let
is.
me get off my soapbox. This ain't the Rooster Show.
Well, that's all right. I made you hang on the phone long enough that we decided to just let you go as long as you wanted to, and you went right up until the break like a pro. Appreciate the phone call, Rooster. Thank you.
God bless, guys.
God bless you. Thanks for the phone call. Yeah, Will says on YouTube, we need an Academy Award for Best Animal Actor. He wants to go back and retroactively make this a thing. He says Toto deserves an Oscar, and so does Old Yeller. Why not? All right, stick around.
Have you ever wished for one product that would clean and shine almost everything in your house? Here it is, Clean and Shine. Like magic, Clean and Shine leaves a nice shine on fine wood furniture, so you don't need furniture polish. It cleans and shines mirrors, so you don't need glass cleaner for mirrors. It cleans and shines refrigerators, like this kitchen product, even countertops, tile, and vinyl. Try new Clean and Shine, the foam that cleans and shines almost everything in your house.
Someday when people look at me, they'll say, there goes Roy Hobbs, the best there ever was.
TriStar Pictures presents Robert Redford in The Natural, the story of a father and a son.
You got a gift, Roy, but it's not enough.
Of love.
He means the world to me.
And desire.
I'm not waiting for true love to come along, Roy.
A champion.
A Roy Hobbs comes along once, maybe twice in everybody's lifetime.
And his destiny.
With or without the records, they'll remember you.
Best there is now, and best there ever will be.
I wouldn't bet against me.
I already have.
Robert Redford, Robert Duvall, Glenn Close, Kim Basinger, Wilford Brimley, Barbara Hershey, Robert Prosky, and Richard Farnsworth as Red. The Natural.
You know me. Would you believe I'm Bugs Bunny? I'm also the voice of many other cartoon characters. But in here, they don't care if I'm Elmer Fudd. So I carry an American Express card, the one card I need for travel and entertaining, for business and pleasure. Why, without this, the only way I'd get any attention is by saying, that's all, folks.
To apply for a card, call 800-528-8000.
The American Express card. Don't leave home without it.
The following is a presentation of TBS Sports. Exclusively on Superstation TBS. Superstation TBS presents the Atlanta Braves, America's team. Atlanta Braves baseball is brought to you by Budweiser. Beechwood aged for that distinctively clean, crisp taste that makes Budweiser the king of beers. This Bud's for you. By the official airline of the Atlanta Braves, Delta. We love to fly, and it shows. And by Eckerd Drugs, America's family drugstore.
If a man you've never met before suddenly gives you flowers, that's elation. The exciting new fragrance from Impulse.
Thursday, it's Cosby starting off a night of family fun. And leave it to Family Ties to keep the laughs coming.
Oh, no. What are we going to do? Everything's under control.
Then on Cheers, will Norm think on a friend to get a promotion?
Yes, Stone. Yes.
And the fun continues with Night Court.
I'm here to strip for Dan Fielding.
Thursday.
Oh, what a meal, oh.
Hamburger Helper Lasagna.
For your family.
Authentic Italian taste.
Hearty robusto. But not too spicy, eh?
Hamburger Helper Lasagna turns your plain hamburger into a delicious Italian meal with authentic Italian taste. Curly Italian noodles, rich tomato sauce, and a better blend of spices.
Hamburger Helper. Lasagna.
Helper, Hamburger Helper.
Make a great meal, oh.
All right, back with you. Gary Woodland, one of the feel-good stories in the Masters this year. He just hit a hole-in-one here on the par 3 contest today on Wednesday. And he's got his wife and 3 children with him. And he's playing with Tom Watson, Mike Weir, I believe it is.